A lot of people think they are tired because they worked too much, slept too little, or didn't get enough recharge. Of course, those things matter. If your schedule is overloaded, if your nights are broken, if your day never gives you a real recharge window, your human battery will definitely be consumed. But if you observe carefully, there is another layer that many people miss. Sometimes the thing stealing your power is not the workload itself. It is the emotion attached to that workload. It is the frustration, the pressure, the resentment, the anxiety, the silent heaviness that stays inside long after the event is over. What most people misunderstand is that emotion is not just a feeling in the mind. Emotion is an energy fluctuation of the entire system. When anger rises, your breathing changes. When worry rises, your thoughts keep spinning. When humiliation appears, the whole system can become heavy, closed, and contracted. When fear stays too long, the lower part of the system may feel unstable. From the Taiyi Budong energy navigation perspective, emotion is not outside the body. Emotion is part of the body's energy regulation system. The mind feels it, but the entire human battery responds to it. This is why two people can experience the same event and have completely different levels of exhaustion afterward. One person may finish a difficult conversation, feel the discomfort, and gradually return to balance. Another person may replay the same conversation all night, imagine what they should have said, feel wronged, hold back anger, and wake up already tired. The event may have lasted 10 minutes, but the background processes continue for 10 hours. In that situation, the real energy cost is not only the conversation. The real cost is the emotional loop that keeps running inside the system. Some emotions are obvious. Strong anger, grief, shock, embarrassment, or conflict can immediately pull the system off center. You can feel the impact right away. Your chest tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, your face heats up, or your whole body feels drained. But in modern life, the more common energy drain is not always dramatic. It is moderate, quiet, and persistent. A little irritation that never leaves. A little worry that keeps returning. A little grievance that you never express. A little tension that becomes normal. These states may not collapse the human battery in one moment, but they create long-term energy leakage. This is why Taiyi Budong keeps emphasizing observation over judgment. Many people say, "I'm fine, nothing big happened." But their system tells another story. They wake up heavy. They need more stimulation to start the day. They feel mentally busy, but physically low. They rest, but the rest does not go deep. This is a classic pattern of false full charge. On the surface, they may have slept, eaten, or taken time off. But internally, the human battery did not truly reset because emotional background processes were still running underneath. The system looked like it was resting, but part of it was still spending power. Held in, endured, and suppressed emotions are among the most costly patterns. Many people are not without emotion. They simply do not feel safe, free, or ready to express it. They swallow it first. They remain polite. They keep functioning. They tell themselves to be mature, strong, and responsible. On the outside, this can look stable, but from the human battery perspective, held emotion still requires energy to contain. Once emotion is generated, it needs movement. If it is understood, expressed appropriately, and allowed to pass, the system can return toward balance. If it is held for too long, it becomes resistance. That resistance may appear as a sense of heaviness, internal tightness, difficulty settling, or a constant feeling that something is unfinished. Again, this is not a medical diagnosis. We are not saying emotion causes disease, or that one method can treat anything. We are speaking about energy rhythm, rechargeability, and system balance. When emotion has no exit, the system has to hold it. Holding requires power. The longer the system holds, the more energy impedance appears. Energy impedance means the natural movement of the system becomes less smooth. Recharge becomes slower, recovery feels incomplete, and the person may feel tired, even when life looks manageable. If you observe your own day, you may notice this very clearly. After a physically busy day with a clear mind, you may feel tired but clean. You can eat, rest, sleep, and recover. But after an emotionally knotted day, the tiredness feels different. The body may not be moving much, but the inside keeps running. You may scroll your phone because you do not want to feel the heaviness. You may lie down, but your mind keeps arguing with someone who is not even there. You may sleep, but wake up feeling as if the system never fully powered down. In Tai Budong language, this is where we begin to observe the trend line, not just one day's feeling. One emotional day is normal. One bad night is normal. One stressful event is normal. But if the trend line shows that your recharge is getting weaker, your patience is getting shorter, your clarity is dropping, and your baseline energy is slowly moving downward, then the human battery is telling you something. Your total energy index, or TEI, may still look acceptable in the short term, but the direction matters. If emotional background processes keep consuming power, the overall system gradually loses reserve. The Young Qi Index, or YQI, is especially useful to understand this pattern in a non-medical way. YQI points to the system's active warmth, drive, upward movement, and ability to initiate. When a person carries too much unresolved emotion, they may still push themselves through the day, but the inner drive becomes less natural. They need more pressure, more caffeine, more deadlines, or more emotional force to move. This is not true vitality. It is forced operation. Over time, the gap between TEI and YQI can reveal that the person is not simply tired. The system is operating under emotional load. This is also where EMOS and TRI can help with self-awareness. EMOS can be understood as observing how emotional movement affects the system's stability, while TRI helps us look at the quality of recharge and recovery rhythm. If every emotional stimulation turns into a long internal replay, EMOS becomes unstable. If rest does not feel restorative because the mind never stops processing, TRI begins to weaken. And when these patterns continue, the system can enter a systemic tilt. That means the whole life operating protocol starts leaning toward tension, overthinking, defense, and incomplete recharge, instead of openness, clarity, and natural restoration. A simple real-life example is someone who works in a demanding office. The workload is heavy, but the real drain may come from constantly holding back. They cannot say what they really think in meetings. They feel unfairly judged, but smile anyway. They receive messages at night and feel pressure even before replying. On paper, they worked 8 or 9 hours, but inside, the human battery worked much longer. It managed facial expressions, controlled frustration, suppressed reactions, replayed conversations, and prepared for tomorrow's pressure. This is why they may feel exhausted even after a weekend, because the emotional program never truly stopped. Another example is family responsibility. Many people love their family, but still carry worry, guilt, obligation, and unspoken sadness. They may tell themselves, this is just life. And yes, responsibility is part of life. But Tai Budong energy navigation asks a deeper question. How much of your human battery is being used by responsibility? And how much is being consumed by the emotions surrounding responsibility? The difference matters. When care is clear, the system can still remain warm and connected. But when care becomes silent pressure, resentment, fear, and self-neglect, the system begins to lose power through hidden emotional channels. What can we do with this understanding? The first step is not to force yourself to be calm. The first step is to observe the system honestly. Ask yourself, what emotion keeps repeating? What conversation is still running inside me? What am I holding in because I think I have no choice? Where does my recharge fail to land? When do I feel false full charge? These questions do not diagnose anything. They help you understand the pattern. Once you can see the emotional background processes, you stop blaming only workload, sleep, or discipline. you begin to see the real energy movement. The key message is simple. Emotion is not a small side effect of life. Emotion is one of the major mechanisms that can steal human power. Not because emotion is bad, and not because we should eliminate emotion. Emotion is part of being alive. But when emotional fluctuation becomes stuck, repeated, suppressed, or unresolved for too long, it creates power dissipation inside the human battery. This is why real recharge is not only about lying down. It is also about allowing the system to release, digest, settle, and return to center. When the system stops leaking, energy can finally begin to gather again. If this explanation helped you understand your own energy pattern more clearly, take a moment today to observe one thing. What emotion is still running in the background, even when nothing is happening on the outside? That one observation can change how you understand tiredness. Taiyi Budong Energy Navigation is not here to give medical advice or replace professional care. It is here to help you read your own human battery, understand your recharge rhythm, and adjust your life operating protocol with more awareness. If you want more explanations like this, subscribe to the channel and continue learning how to see your own system clearly.